Hello friends, texture junkies and happy paper people. I actually have this project to finish, and it's an element I'm adding to the idea planner that I made for the collaboration we just did, and that is Makers Creative Collab hashtag. And you can find that on my channel, and you can go around the loop. There should be a link at the end of each video to point you in the right direction. Okay. A lot of great people there. It was put on by PM Artist Studio, and it was just a lot of fun. The requirement was stuffed stuff, and we were using scraps. So my idea planner, if you haven't seen this video, is a place to gather all my lists. All right, let me take this away. So where we left off on our premiere that I had to make in such a hurry on Saturday, for many reasons, we actually, I don't know why my music just changed. Hold on. I like to play music because it gets me in the zone. It just helps me. But hopefully it's not going to put you to sleep. I kind of chose something different this time. We had a premiere on Saturday night, and we all got to watch it together. It was a lot of fun, but I didn't do any planning. It was all raw video, unedited, and I left off where I could pick up and begin and finish this in a short amount of time. So I'm going to try to do this quick because I know your time is valuable, but I want to show you how I transformed where I left off into something awesome that is going to inspire me. I felt like it was too dark and I couldn't keep my hands off of it, so I did one more thing off camera when I was uploading, because you know it takes a while to upload. This is Sharon, by the way, if you don't know that, and if you're just visiting for the first time, I would love it if you subscribed and hit the bell. Follow me for more fun videos, and we'll be doing all different kinds of things. So I'm just a creative person. I like to make a lot of different kinds of art and craft and decorating. I love to cook, so you never know where it's going to take me. I probably won't be cooking though. Maybe some kitchen art experiments. Who knows? Who knows where we'll land, because it's just going to be fun, and I'm just going to let my creativity guide me. I'm having a 200 subscriber giveaway. I was with a partner at Happy Paper People, Marianne, and we decided to do separate channels so that we could do different things and share more content. So we had a live every Saturday night, and now we're going to be switching those off, and I'm just tweaking the way I do it. In case you're worried that you're not going to have your Saturday night, to all the Happy Paper people out there, we're still going to have a Saturday night. It's just going to be a little different on my channel when it's my turn, the first and third, I think we decided on. But we're still on Facebook as our home base, and that's Happy Paper People. So you could go over there, and I am starting from scratch again. So if you could, you know, hit that subscribe, that would help me out. And if you leave a comment after you do that, you can enter yourself in a chance to be in a drawing. If you share with a friend and they subscribe, then unless they were previous Happy Paper people, of course, they're all winners. I will enter you twice. So how's that sound? Okay, so let's get right on this. I had to clean up my desk and charge my phone. And what is the thing that we say to ourselves all the time? I'll remember that. And for me, it's, I don't need gloves. So while I was waiting for my phone to charge, I actually started playing with alcohol ink. So I've got remnants of alcohol ink still. So that's a big one for me. I just don't like playing in gloves. It's not the same, you know. I just was wasting time. So here's where we were at. I didn't have the white on here. All I did, and I used a bunch of strips, and it's a lot of little scraps. This is a big pocket to stuff my lists. And all I did was selectively choose, and I think that's why I like this stencil, because it has some different stuff going on, where I wanted to add just, you know, a little bit of gesso with a sponge. and it created that white space that I felt like it was missing. So I love the way it came out. I'm leaving opportunities for myself to doodle on these pages. If I'm sitting and thinking and I need a place to doodle, I might take my Stabilo, let's say, and go around these, maybe make them sharper, give them some shadows perhaps, who knows. I like doing that. I always go whole hog and beyond. I just can't stop messing with them. But there comes a point where we're like, oh, I know it's done. I feel like it's done. And then I walk away. So it's not done until the artist says it's done. And this still needs a bit of a doodle. Anyway, we're on this side now. And the reason why I needed to have a place in my journal or in my planner here where I could add this composition notebook. So what I did, and I showed this last time, was I used, the whole book is made out of folders, and these are little folders that came like this, and the rest of it is scraps. So I used this part of what I had cut off, which is the tab, to make this little pocket. All I did was cut out some little corners, made it fit, you know. I had some paint left over on my palette, and I thought maybe it was enough to cover this. It wasn't, but I wanted to get some gold on the spine. I want the black to show through, but I'm going to cover this. And then this is going to go on here. And I stenciled and stamped this, and the stamp is, oh, I'm just going to pull this out right here. I've got the hand, and I've got this. So I'm not decoupaging this. I wanted to have this side a little more simple for me. This is simple. And kind of go from there. Using very flat things, except for this. I'm not using a lot of fabric or buttons, things like that. I do have some charms, but they hang out the side because, you know, I know I can open it up all the way, but I want to be able to write. So now I've got this on here, and I'm going to end up gluing it down right somewhere in here. And then it's going to slide in there like that. So let's cover this. And I am going to have, so it doesn't fall out, I have an idea to keep it in place. And it'll be the only bit of fabric that I use here on this. What is this? I don't know why. Hold on just a moment here. So let's just turn that off. It keeps having commercials on my music, and that just doesn't usually happen. So I'm going to put this stencil away. And now I've got some things here, just some little scraps out. Like, you know, I might add more pockets to this later. I want to go kind of simple on this book because, you know, it's something that I'll be tearing things out of, and it's just for little notes that I might have. And maybe I'll use that's cut off of the back of the embossing folder. Or I could use one of these. These are wax. They're from my friend Ivy. I think that's a great idea, actually. I think I'm going to do that. So I'm just going to glue it down. I'm not sure what I'm going to put on the back yet, but I will. We will have fun with it. And maybe this. Is that too bright? It's too bright. I'm thinking this might go on the back of it. It's just more of that. So I'm going to get this cut to size. I'll save the B and use the B elsewhere, I guess. Nope, he's still going to be on the book. How about like that? Okay. So I hope you all are having a good Monday. I know Mondays are tough for some. I don't work and I don't leave the house if I can help it. So I'm just here with you guys. Have some really fun projects coming up planned. And of course December's coming, so we're going to have to do something holiday related, and I have something fun planned there too. All right, let's see. see how I did here. Still a little long, but that can be remedied. And here's the other thing I tell myself. I don't need to measure that. That's the other thing. It is. What do you tell yourself that always trips you up? No matter what. We all have those things. And I want to know what yours is. I'm going to go with something heavier here because this is a waxed napkin on cardstock that my friend Ivy made for me and sent me a while back. I couldn't bear to cut them, so I've had them for a while. And I just decided it went with this sort of fall colored themed journal planner. So I thought it was definitely time. I've had them for a long time. Come on. I don't want to have to break out another one. Let me clean this off. Sometimes you just got to get rid of the goo. I always say your glue should be as heavy as whatever you're gluing. And this is pretty thick and it's got wax on the other side. And I need a pretty strong, stable glue here. So that's why I chose the fabric glue. And it's kind of like hot glue, but it's cold. Oh, there's the new one. Plus I have time to adjust anything that needs adjusted. And if there's anything left over here, I decide I'm going to be going around the edge with some gold anyway. So I'll cover any pink edges. We can't leave that book pink. No, no. So you'll want to get in on that 200 subscriber giveaway. We're going to have some fun stuff for the giveaway. I think this side. Yeah. It doesn't quite fit. What else do I have here? Let me grab another scrap real quick. So I kind of wanted to match the fall thing I have going on here. Well, maybe we'll use this instead. I did colored chapters in this, so I know where to turn exactly. Like if I'm putting in my art seeds, or I'm putting in where I'm exploring the ideas, or because I needed all those pockets to tuck the notes. And there'll be notes from all over my house because I have a tendency to do that. I'm terrible about that. So this is lighter paper. I'm going to go ahead and use this glue. And I'll trim it after. You could collage it. Being a book that I'll be changing out, you know, because this is just a place for me to scratch off ideas before they become full ideas. But I'll probably end up, you know, using all this and needing a new one. So I just didn't want to, I didn't need to go whole hog on this one. Where did that come from, I wonder? Probably something to do with having the whole hog, like as in food, I would imagine. I love useless information like that. I have a need to know where things came from a lot. I love experimenting and playing and saying, what if And useless facts. Did I miss a piece? Okay, so now I'm going to get back around these edges that maybe need more. A glue stick might have worked here, but there's paint on this side, so I didn't feel like it was heavy enough. If I was more ambitious and didn't want to hurry up and move into this book already, because I haven't done that yet, I'm excited about it, I would have made just a cover that I could slip off, like a slip cover, like a pillowcase. I'm sure there's a name for that, where you have a cover that you can move in and out of with a new book. All right, that's just a gel print scrap. All right, so there's my little book. I am going to put a little gold around the edges. And I did rub some gold on those edges already a little bit. I had just had some leftover paint on my palette and went after the spine and a little bit of that, but I didn't want them to stick together, so I didn't go crazy. So I'm going to use my Nuvo mousse here. There's a little bit extra there. I thought so. And this is in lieu of, some people would ink it. Still looks a little bit raggedy right there. But I also want to get the pages, because I love those old Bibles and dictionaries and those old books where they did the pages. Now, if you use paint, you're going to want to go light at first, because it's going to make your pages stick together. But Nuvo mousse shouldn't do that. It shouldn't be a thing. I still see some I need to trim right there. This one was in my purse forever. It's already got some scratches in it, little scratchy notes and some dog ears, and I just thought it was the right kind to have some scratch paper in here. That's kind of fun, right? Making the book look special without a whole lot of effort. Okay, now I'm going to go around these edges. If you run your finger like this, you end up with a bead, if you've got enough on your finger. And that's what I'm after here. So what it's doing is scraping the Nuvo mousse off of my finger, creating that bead. Gold matches that paint pretty well. Nuvo mousse also works like a watercolor, so I could get a brush wet, dip it in there, and paint with it, but it would fill in all the where I want to see the texture of the fabric that's on the edge. It would fill that in, and I don't want that. I could go one step further here and grab a stencil just to give it a little bit more interest without a lot of fuss. I'll show you kind of how I did the other stencil on the front of this, because I just chose little moments on here. So that's all I'm going to do here. You can use one of those, the flat or the domed alcohol ink or inking blender that has the handle on it for this too, because you just can roll it around in your pot. It actually works pretty well. And also, It can be, look at that. It can be used with a credit card or a spatula, and you can make it really 3D. But it takes a little while to dry, and I don't want to do that right now. So I think I'm going to do one more spot on here. I usually do things in 3s, but I don't want to cover up my bee, and I don't want to get in my own way there. Maybe after that dries, I'll do some on the back too. That would be good. That's pretty. Okay. This is to help it from drying out. When I get done with these, if they are feeling a bit dry, I squirt some water in there and then close it up, because I do have some that are drying out because I don't use them enough. Let's get a baby wipe. Need that baby wipe. All right. Okay, so that shouldn't take too long to dry because it's not real thick. That's going to go inside there. I need to figure out where exactly. I might bring it all the way down to the bottom so that I have this here, because I'm still going to add a bit of fabric to go over it to hold it in place. So let's take that out. You know, I think I need to put a little gold on here because it has copper, so it goes together, because it's going to bug me. The whole point of doing all this fussing is because I like to be inspired when I open my stuff, and when I'm creating places for myself, I need them to be inspirational. That's just a piece of washi down there on the bottom, but it's got a texture like fabric, so gets that crosshatch. Picked it up with a little light there, and back to the baby wipe. All right, so I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom with this. And then, let's see, I don't want to stuff that in there and smear it. Make sure that I have enough room for glue and for the fabric that I want to put there. Have these sticking out the side. That's kind of fun. I could probably center it. Not really a center sort of person. Okay, I'm going to ink that first real quick because I don't want that stark white looking at me. Usually when I start recording, my cat decides she's going to run across my desk. I'm surprised she's not here already saying hello. Because that's what she does. I'm just going to go with a little bit of Rusty Hinge. Kind of pick up the color in the book, just as long as it's not bright white. All right, so I think, again, because this is thick and I really, really want it to, need to make sure that it stays in place, I'm going to use this. Could use any kind of scrap for this. Basically, it was the strips that are off cut on, you know, cutting down the folders. Those, I keep them all in a bucket. It's my strip bucket. Sounds more fun than it is. If you haven't figured out, I'm sort of a goofball. And I wouldn't have it any other way. All right. All right, let's get the fabric ready while that dries. It'll just take a moment. And then the Nuvo Mousse should be dry by then. Alright, let me see here. So I have a handful of fabric that I just took out here. And I'm not sure which one I want to use. And probably going to put something across the top of it. I might use that. That was just a strip that happens to have clocks on it from doing that. This little ticket here. I have a little bowl of stuff next to me. I have this old fabric with music notes on it. Or an embossed offcut here. I love the way this came out, and it's cereal box. It was sprayed, and then I used the Nuvo Mousse through a stencil or some sort of paste through a stencil. I did it so long ago, and this is just a little scrap from that. I actually made a lot of tickets out of these. I did touch it with some gold, at least, if I didn't use Nuvo Mousse. I wish I could remember. It comes out about the same. It's probably texture paste. I think I'm just going to put that on there. Shape be it as it is. For no reason at all. And it's heavy, so I'm going to use a heavier glue. I should do a video where we just make these up ahead of time, things like this, that I cut up and use all the time, because it's, I need my little book to do this. Here's something to hold it in place, and so I don't crush it while I'm gluing it. Put the book in there. But we could make up ahead of time, like substrate out of, you know, recycled cardboard, cereal boxes. Once it gets covered like this, it's no longer trash in your art room. If you cover it right away, it looks like you're just ready for a project instead of having a box of, or a collection of boxes from the kitchen. All right, let's see. Not big enough. So I'm either going to use, I don't think so. This is one of my favorite fabrics. I think that's the one we're going to use because it matches. This one is just too bright. Although it's nice and heavy and drapey, it would do the job. It's just too shiny and new. This is from a pair of curtains that I had in my dining room at my old house, and they were from the 1940s, and I loved them. If I could, I would have done my whole house with these curtains, but I only had 2 panels, and they were just getting, I mean, I lived in that house for 10 years. They were already old, and they were getting kind of threadbare and tearing pretty easily, so I cut them up and decided I could love them elsewhere. So I need to decide. Let's put that back. Hope all my glue is dry. I feel like that's not going in all the way. There we go. I need to decide where it is exactly. So I'm gonna make a mark here. Now, this might not be your style. You could apply any of these things that I'm doing to whatever it is your style is. And I think we can definitely appreciate each other's styles and share what we do. I think it's good for us. How long do I want it? Probably right there. So I'm going to take this and fold it and make myself a little mark. I'm using a Stabilo awl. I don't know what's wrong with me. It's on my desk. I just don't want to cut it crooked. If I cut it crooked, it'll be like the bangs that we trim, and then they're getting shorter and shorter because then we need to cut up more on one side and, oh, wait, that side's too short now, and cut up on the other side. That's my life where I don't measure stuff. You'll see me do that. It's hard. It takes away from the creative expression sometimes if I have to drag out a ruler and math. I don't see, I did it. I don't like to math. It's not that I can't do math. It's just, it hurts my brain and uses too much. Too much juice. There we go. I bet I could do it this way too. Is it long enough? Yeah, it's long enough. So I'm going to leave that edge there because that was a raw edge from the fabric. I didn't do that. It's like pinked. I like that. And I'm just going to glue this down. Now, am I going to do it this way? I'm going to do it this way. Yeah, I'm gonna. So I'm gonna run a bead of glue right along there. Set this up this way. And I could, no I couldn't because that's a pocket. I was gonna say you could go to your sewing machine and sew it, but that won't work. All right, I'm going for it. I have a tendency to put the glue lid or pin or whatever in my mouth. So if you can't hear me, that's probably why. I'm sorry. Or if you can't understand me, at least. I can't understand me most of the time. It has nothing to do with the pin in my mouth. Make sure it's straight. I don't need it to be even, mostly. Just a little bit. So that means that I can stick my book in there. No. That's okay. That is the mother of invention right there. Now, I'm going to add a trim to the bottom of this. And I've got some pretty cool trim. I'm going to turn the camera off so I can go find it real quick, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Wow, I hope I wasn't this out of frame the whole time. Okay. So here's what I have. I love it when I have to solve a problem. It's really good for my brain. It's really good to have to think outside the box and come up with solutions. And I just put myself in that position a lot. And sometimes I wonder if I plan less and measure less so that I have to do that. Not sure. It's a good question to ask myself, really. It is one of my favorite things to have to, I mean, sometimes it's frustrating, but for the most part, I like it when I have to stretch a little. Got to stretch your brain. Okay, so here's where I am. I've got it sitting here, and I know I want something heavy. I don't want to have a closure that's like closed, because then I'll never take the book out. I know me. I know how I work. I know I'll be okay with flipping that up and taking my book out to use it. But anything more than flipping that up, and I'm not going to. I just won't. So here's what I was kind of looking at. Something heavy. So I could always add something like this in at the length that I want, and that makes this end heavier. Or I tried several different fabrics. A piece of a doily would be great here. This one was way too big, and that's not what I'm using. But, you know, something heavy. I also had trim with fringe, or tassels, I mean, that were like fringe. and they were just too bulky. I don't really want it that bulky. Though I can flip my book open all the way if I open all the way to that page. I don't want to have to do that with this one because it's just a place for me to have a little notebook stashed in there to, you know, make a list of some sort. So here's what I did. I have a whole thing of this vintage green velvet, and I cut it to 2 different lengths. I actually it was this way, and I just, you know, cut one end shorter than the other, or longer, however full your glass is or empty. I'm gonna have it at that angle right there. So what I want to do is cut this straight at that angle, whatever angle I'm gonna have it at. So right here. So that's right. And then I have this trim right here. It's gonna go here like that. And that, adding those extra pieces makes that really heavy, so it just stays closed on its own with no closure necessary. And this matches this and the fall colors that I've been working in. So let me get this glued together. And I just want to, sorry, pen or lid, mouth, you know, put that right here. This is that glue that's so good for fabric. It's just like, it's made by the same company as Fabri-Tac, but it's actually for foam and poster board, but it's the same, it works the same. I'm going to put that at the end. Now I could put this on the inside, but I like the idea of having the trim there too, because it creates heaviness and keeps it closed. I don't think I put enough. There we go. All right, and then this one, I'm not going to trim this one until because when I cut these ones, I put tape around it and then I cut it. And I don't want it to unravel, so what I'll do is, and I don't care if it's unraveled on the ends, but I don't want to trim it until after I get it glued in place. A button would have been good here, but it would have to be pretty big to cover up those raw edges right there. I'm not opposed to raw edges. It would just look weird, I think, in that position. So I'm going to leave enough off the edge. I love this kind of trim. Somebody told me it was called GIMP, and I was like, nuh-uh. Why? That's another thing. Why is it called GIMP? I don't get it. All right, now I'm going to trim it. Should be glued enough. Could make up ahead things like this and just sew them. That would be fun. That would be a great thing to have in your stash because you could use them different ways. Sorry, I think I just got my head in the camera. There we go. And that made it nice and heavy. Now at this point I could, and crooked, I could put a button right here. I would want something pretty flat, but that would kind of look neat. Or a charm, or a pin, or, you know, just something to inspire me. It really made it nice and heavy, and it'll keep my book in place. That's great. I love it. All right, so we have the book. Finished that. We finished our pocket. And I might add more later to it. I don't know. I just want it to inspire me. And when it stops inspiring me, then I might change it. I don't know. I used to live out of a planner that was like the dates with the squares and the appointments. And I don't need that kind of a planner anymore. What I need is a place where I can plan my business as it is now. And it's not really a business. It's my hobbies and what I can do and getting to hang out with you guys. So I might do a little bit of share the way I might doodle here. Just a little bit to brighten it up and to add some white. So I think I want to use a white gel pen for this. Might have to go over a couple passes. Or paint pen. Or I don't own a Posca pen, but I'm pretty sure that's what this is for. But I might do something like this if I want to bring in some white. I had tried to use white ink on that if you watched the first one, but it didn't really show because the folder is so dark. And I don't want them to be perfect. I don't need that. I'm definitely not perfect. This is my personal thing that has to inspire me. If I was making it for somebody else, totally different story. Gotta do things in 3s and 1s. A little something down here. You know, just adding some white back in. Those will dry lighter. Well, that's kind of fun. Maybe a little something here. Apparently I need an off-white Posca pen or paint pen because white is just not my thing. I don't know what to do with it, so I'm going to leave it for now. Maybe some swirls or, you know, just a little bit of bringing something in. Some added detail that makes it personal. So here is, let's add this to the book. It's going to go in the back. I can't wait to move into this. I've got lists piling up. So we'll do a quick little flip through. Got some things here to glue down still, but I wasn't sure if I just wanted to put it in the pocket and use it on something else or use it here. So when I couldn't make up my mind, I thought, well, that's a great place to put it right there. I love the way this came out. And I used those leaf skeletons. And it's probably like a cereal box or something. I don't know. I don't know what's under there. I tend to cover them and then I can't know. I get pretty excited about recycling either way. So that's gel prints. There's another little tag I made with 2 pockets where I've tucked some things in that I wanted to use. There's some paper. I need to cut more. There's an envelope that I can close right there. I used a lot of green here, a lot of autumn colors. And that's from a notebook that I just had used up and cut out the words, used the rest to cover and as a substrate somehow. Postcard. Of course, these will be full of lists. There's some more paper. There's that. I know we went through this, so I'll speed up here. There. If you did miss this and you haven't seen the whole thing in detail yet, go over and look at my playlists and it'll be in there. Love this. And you'll get to see closer. And if you head over to Happy Paper People, you can see the photos of the different pages close up. I think I've added them already. It's been so busy the last few days. I don't know exactly what I've done. So I know I took the pictures. I can't remember if I posted them. I'll have to go and check. There's some things I wanted to use up. Things to use up. Another pocket. These are all pockets. Little window with a tag. There's that. And I think I'm going to put it right here because I want my notebook in the back. That's hanging on there nicely. Might get a button, I don't know yet. I'll add this and add that. And how fun. Now I have a place with a notebook just like that. I love it. And it won't be in my way because I can actually say I'm going to write here. And we do is that. And it's ready to go. So you guys have a fabulous and magical day. Thank you for joining me for this raw presentation of how I would finish this off. I am going to try to have more uncut and raw videos so that you can see my process and see what I'm working on when I do things like this. And I used to plan way too far ahead, and I'm just not going to do that. I'm going to turn on the camera and hang out with my friends, and that's you. So thank you so much. Don't forget to leave a comment and like this video, and I hope you had a good time in this part 2, and you have a magical day. Bye-bye.